Hello, America. This is Johnny Carson.
Glenda Summers.
Helen Thomas with urgent news.
Russian bombs have hit the United States. I repeat, Russian bombs have hit the United States.
The areas impacted with the most damage are California, Illinois, Colorado, New York, and Florida. If you are in any of these affected areas, please seek shelter as soon as possible and as quickly as you can.
If shelter is too far, duck and cover. For now, we recommend relocating to your underground bunkers and seeking shelter wherever you can. May God have
It began on October 29th, 1962. Though it hadn't really begun, it more or less got out of hand. The United States had been in and out of war since 1914. First, World War I, next World War II, and then the standoff between Russia and the U.S. Instead of coming to an agreement like most Americans had prayed for, Nikita Khrushchev, the first secretary of the Communist Party, moved enemy missiles into Cuba, declaring war. On November 3rd, the United States struck Kiev with a B-53 nuclear bomb, and the USSR responded with 5 nukes, each 3 times the size of the B-53. They hit well-known cities across the U.S., Los Angeles, Chicago, Denver, New York City, and Miami. Hours later, ash and radiation spread across the sky, reaching the span of the entire country. The only reason we knew was because of the radios describing the outside. Lord knows we wouldn't go outside after something like that. So that's when...
Catatonia Corporations present How to Stay Safe. In the case of a catastrophic global event, we at Catatonia Corporations, or CatCorp for short, have repurposed abandoned subway systems and tunnels under the country. There are 8 main stations linked through thousands of tunnels. If you are watching this, you are in
Station number 3.
Areas in Station 3 goes as follows. A main living space with 20 adjoining rooms, a vault, a supply chamber, 3 empty rooms, 10 bedrooms, and a lab area. Areas 28 through 35 are off limits without supervision from your CatCorp supervisor. Station 3 is equipped with items and enough food to last 15 years. In the case of necessity, dirt, seeds, and specified crop water are designated. At Catatonia Corporations, we have a code of conduct that we expect you to follow. There is a curfew. Do not exit your living quarters before 6 a.m. and do not leave after 8 p.m. Stay in your designated station and do not venture to the outside. Stick to your guided rations. 1 child per family, and all other procreation will be terminated. We understand that living in a post-apocalyptic world may be threatening, and some morals may have been lost across the population. But someone you can trust 100% of the time is Catatonia Corporations.
I was 10 when it happened, when the bombs went off. My dad perished in the initial blast. He was working in the city at the time, but my mom and I were close enough to Station 3, so we rushed inside. I remember everything in visions, flashbacks of sorts. Our station was only supposed to hold 70 people. In the beginning, there were over 200. Now, we are at 53. At first, the elderly, the infants, and toddlers started dying. They kept coughing. Radiation was probably bad for their weak immune systems. We converted one of the open rooms into a morgue. Weeks went by and people kept getting sicker and sicker. We folded shirts and scraps of fabric over our mouths and noses to prevent any diseases. It helped a little bit until some people felt too caged in. Maybe they couldn't take it any longer. Maybe they were always like that, but they began to fight each other. Kicks and punches and bludgeons. We lost almost 1 per day until our CatCorp representative forced them above the surface. We never saw them any longer. Maybe they were always like that, but they began to fight each other. Kicks and punches and bludgeons. We lost almost 1 per day until our CatCorp representative forced them above the surface. We never saw them after that. I guess the people at CatCorp stored some meat before October 30th, because in the beginning we ate meat almost every night. They said it was some kind of blend between pork and beef. At that point I was a bit nervous to eat it, but now that has been well over 20 years, I'd be willing to eat anything.